All right, we're live. Dr. Sean Pastuch. Linda, thanks for joining the party as well. Always a pleasure talking to both of you, and getting you both on the same screen is just really, really special. So
It's my pleasure, man. Everyone thinks they're fancy because they have a home office, like whatever. I have a car office.
yeah, it's nice, man. Is that you rocking a minivan? What do you got there?
No, I told my wife I would sooner buy a Ford Transit or a Mercedes Sprinter than a minivan. She's like, that's excessive. I said, yeah, you're fucking right. It is. I'm not buying a minivan. This is a Jeep.
Awesome.
We have three daughters, age 4, 2, and 7 months. So we have a Buick Enclave with 7 seats in it. That we do have.
Yeah, that's a huge vehicle, right?
Yeah, it's basically driving a minivan with doors.
Okay, awesome. Well, I think people could probably hear us talk about our choices in SUVs and in vehicles, but I think people want to hear what you got to say, man. Doc, I've got to know you a little bit through a couple of podcast interviews and conversations, and always impressed with your breadth of knowledge and the way you look at things, because it's different. So maybe you could give us a little background on how that perspective came to be, and then we can talk about the big topic today.
Yeah, I'll give you the 5-minute version instead of the 2-hour version.
Right on.
5-minute version is I became an impromptu personal trainer in my senior year of college at University of Maryland in 2001. Was it 2001? No, 2004. And when I graduated, I got a job as a personal trainer at the worst gym I could possibly find, so I would get lost and nobody would ever hear about the mistakes that I was making. I'm talking about, like, I learned how to clean selectorize equipment, like unchain it, chain it back up, put the pulleys on, put the pulleys off. Haven't done that since then, so you don't want to hire me for that, but I was learning that kind of stuff. Cleaning the mirrors with newspaper, because if those of you guys out there who are in commercial gyms with mirrors, towels leave streaks. So newspaper cleans the mirror better. I was learning all of that stuff. I'm here for you, Eric.
Yeah,
we didn't have mirrors. What's that?
We didn't have mirrors.
We have a mirror in your bathroom. Now you can clean it better.
Thanks, man.
So I was learning all of that stuff and how to sell one-on-one training. And despite the fact that my boss at the time ended up having me sell a bag of steroids out of the front desk without me knowing that's what I was doing, like, that's the moral fiber that this guy had. He did know how to get people to understand the value of a coach and buy a training session. So he taught me how to talk to people so that they would understand that I had a solution to a problem that they were dealing with, and then they would then pay me for one-on-one training. By the time I felt like I was doing my thing right there, I left and I went to Equinox, where I could get groomed as a professional. And I became frustrated that the clients I was working with, I got the full-time at Equinox in 5 weeks. They tell you it takes 6.5 months. It took me 5 weeks because I had the skills from the previous gym I was at. Now, I got frustrated because I was working with the clients who were kind of like the misfits of the gym. They had injuries. They had all different kind of things going on. They felt uncomfortable being in the gym. So I would go up to the physical therapy suite and ask, what can I do for these people? And they would just say, oh, well, don't do anything that hurts. I'm like, oh, cool. That was like really useless. I was hoping for something much better than that. So I ended up going to chiropractic school. My father was a chiropractor. Practiced with him. When I graduated, hated it, left, opened my own clinic that was more soft tissue and rehab based. And I opened a CrossFit gym to be assigned to it, like side by side. And that's where my School of Hard Knocks business kind of started. It got sued by my next door neighbor for making too much noise. Fought that lawsuit for $120,000, won, and 5 days later, Hurricane Sandy came and washed our gym away.
Wow.
So that sucked. Moved into a second location. I had a third location in Brooklyn, about 45 minutes away, that I was absentee managing. Did a terrible job, and it closed. I had a clinic, and people were starting to come from all over the place to my clinic because I was aggressive about getting influential people who were local to come and see us. So we ended up with patients flying in from Finland, Reno, Nevada, Barbados, Cayman Islands, California, England, Brazil, Australia, Buffalo. They came from everywhere to be seen in our clinic. And then they would leave. They're like, what do I do now that I'm leaving? and we had to write them exercise programs. So it became a company where we were doing that for people, writing programs to get them out of pain without going to the doctor or missing the gym from anywhere in the world. And that was cool. After doing that for about 8,000 people via template or one-on-one coaching, coaches started asking, how can I do this for my clients? So we started teaching coaches how to do it for their clients. We did a workshop. First workshop, 22 states and 5 countries were represented with 60 people. It was awesome. But they left frustrated. They didn't know what to do. Now they know how to assess, but they're like a security monitor, right? They can't solve the problem. They can just find the problem. So now what? So it was, okay, I'm no better than the physical therapist who told me don't do the things that hurt now. So I need to come up with a solution for these people. So we built out a training program that was 13 weeks long for new staff members of ours. And we just figured, screw it. Let's put coaches through it. We called it our immersion course. So we started putting coaches through this immersion course, teaching them how to monetize the skills. And coaches in gyms started out earning the owners in the same gyms because they understood how to attract one-on-one clients and solve problems for them at a premium price. And even sharing it with the gym owner, they were killing it. In one case, we had a coach go from $300 a pay period to $4,000 a pay period in 5 months. So that coach prompted us to say, well, the gym owner came and said, what do? I want all my coaches doing this. I want to make some money here too. So we built our Pro Path, which is what we're doing now. Immersion for coaches, Pro Path for gym owners, where we're teaching a gym, entire staff, how to systemize this stuff, how to build structure around it so that everybody in there wins. Members get what they need, coaches make a financially freeing living, and the owners make enough money off of each coach to live a financially freeing living of their own. And we never threw out the group class, and we don't tell people to change their gym to do this. It's add this, and you're going to get more mileage from your gas tank. How was that? I think
That
it
was
over
awesome.
5 minutes, but it wasn't that long, right?
No, that was good. That was about 7. We'll take it. I think it was a great summation of what you're doing, how you got there. And before I start pelting with questions, Linda, do you have any questions for Dr. Sean?
I think that what you said is the way to go, right? It's amazing to actually take what's there and add to it, teach the coaches to use their skills better. And it's amazing that you're able to supply such a path for the coaches to earn more and solve problems that are already pre-exist, right? Or it's not that they have to invent something. I think you just grace the surface there, but maybe you want to share a bit of that too.
Yeah, sure. So I'll give you a simple example, because what we see is after people come to our workshop, where we don't even teach them how to fix stuff. I mean, it's basic fixing. They go back and they sell more personal training than they've sold in the last few months. And in one case, the history of the gym. So the reason that happens is there are people in the gym right now who every single coach can think about. And if you think about this person, you're thinking about somebody who has been modifying the same way for 6 months or more. You know that they're frustrated that they still need to modify like that. You're frustrated because you know that if you had some time with them one-on-one, you might be able to get them over that modification and end their frustration. You're uncomfortable asking them for money because you feel like you would be playing on their frustration to get them to pay you. So there's this chasm of doing good and making money with it that feels uncomfortable. You can't cross them. They're like two polar opposites. They repel each other. The truth is, you can't solve that problem for somebody for free. And you know it because you haven't been able to. And the member knows it because they still have the problem. Offering them a solution that's obvious to them, most times they're more than happy to say, yes, I don't need this extra money. Please take it so that my problem can go away. So what we teach at the workshop is simple stuff. We teach 9 assessments over 2 days, and you just drill the hell out of them. So you understand why you're doing them, what the findings mean, and what the next steps are, and how to communicate all of that. So a simple example I'll give you, there's a gym in Virginia that we've done a workshop at twice now. The owners of that gym are CrossFit level 1 and level 2 seminar staff. They've been on staff for a decade each. They have another staff member who's been on staff for 7 years. These people taught me at my CrossFit level 1. It was the most intimidating workshop I've ever given in my life. Because I'm like, these people know how to run a workshop and they're going to smell bullshit. So I hope we don't bullshit. I hope it's all legit, right? It's kind of like the snuff test. So we give a workshop. 8 of their coaches were there from their gym. There were 24 in attendance. 8 were their coaches. They had like 14 coaches. The next day they were doing deadlifts. And one of the coaches who didn't attend was coaching a class. They had a meeting where they went over, based on what they learned at our workshop, here's what we're going to do differently in class today than what we've ever done before. They got an email from a member that night saying, I just want to let you know that you have phenomenal coaches. Coach Josh looked at the way I did a deadlift today and gave me a cue that nobody had ever given me before. And it was the first time in 5 years that after deadlifting, my hamstrings are sore, my back didn't hurt. And it lets me believe that for the rest of my life, I'll be able to come to this gym without pain. Cheers to you, your staff, and the culture that you've built here. And Josh wasn't at the workshop. We teach things so simply that the gym owner, the coach, the manager, the staff can bring those skills back to somebody else. And it's a very simple decision tree that saves memberships.
Yeah. Awesome.
Does that answer your question, by the way? I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now when we teach in the immersion courses, okay, well, do you want that person to be able to do it as normal? Mm-hmm. Not needing to change this little cue. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's put you through a full, thorough assessment. Figure out why right now you can't, instead of just throwing random cues at you. And then let's design a plan to get you there. After we design the plan, we'll talk about what it's going to cost, because we don't even know that until after we assess. We assess. This is the plan. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Outstanding. Would you like to be able to pull from the floor? This is the plan that gets you there. Yes. Cool. It's $3,000. Awesome. How do I pay?
Yeah. Awesome. In this, the thing that comes to mind, and for people who are paying attention to the trends within the fitness and health industry, we'll see that some people have their heads down, maybe they don't. But there's different races going on. There's a race towards commodity, right? You get the major franchises playing in, everybody has a 10-day trial, right? It's just a commodity. There's no opportunity really for people to dig in, get to know clientele, and it's just a system, and that's fine, right? That's great. That's the way it's going. We get to work with a lot of those franchises and understand, where they're going. There's also, I think, the people who got into it for all the right reasons you talked about. They really want to help people, and they're struggling, and they see this race to the commodity side, right? So they're like, well, I got to do free trials, right? Maybe my prices are too high, right? Maybe that's why I'm not retaining clients. So they're looking at all these factors when really what we're talking about is there's an answer right in front of them that's completely obvious if you're looking for it. Is, are you really understanding what your client's problems are?
Yeah. So there's 2 things I'd like to say to that.
Yeah.
One is, we all like to look at the commoditized gym and like they're the bad guy.
Yeah.
Right?
The
reality is there are people who need a $10 gym to give them the opportunity to expose themselves to fitness. And whether they use it or not, that's not the gym's fault. It's the member's fault for continuing to pay. So we can't project the gym's intentions as the gym's outcomes. They're not necessarily the same.
Right.
And I would argue, as much as I don't want to open a Planet Fitness, if you own a gym like that, or you're working in a gym like that, there's value to be had from the people who do use the gym. And there's value to be had from the people who don't. No one is saying that you can't call those people and get them to come in and be one-on-one training clients. But there are people who, if they're looking for a $10 gym, what you need to understand if you're running a $200 gym is they're not the same client. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're not stealing your clients. Your client doesn't go to that gym. Or they do, but it's an accessory to yours. Now, if you own the $200 gym, the first thing that everybody is looking to do that I talk to is I just need more members. I just need more members. Okay, maybe. But have you exhausted all the different ways to make more money? Well, to have more impact so that you can make more money with the same members you already have, in the same space you already have, with the same staff you already have, in the same time you already have, with the same equipment you already have. And most people are like, I mean, I feel like I've tried everything. Mm-hmm. Okay. What if I said to you, you have to find $2,000 a month in your gym, or you get the gun? You have a month. Could you find a way to make $2,000 more inside of your own gym by adding more value to your members? Yeah. When it gets pushed to you like that, when the urgency is there, people find a way.
Yeah.
So all that we do is we facilitate that without putting a gun to their head. Right? We make it easier. One of the biggest reasons why personal trainers don't, or coaches in group fitness gyms don't sell training, is because they feel like they don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. I don't want to promise you that you're going to be able to pull from the ground in 6 weeks, and then you can't, and you're mad at me. So what we teach coaches to do, one of the first things we teach them to do is ask somebody, instead of telling somebody, if in 6 weeks we can show progress that leads you to believe and us to believe that there's an opportunity for you in the future to be able to pull from the ground, would it be worth it to you to do 2 training sessions per week for those 6 weeks and a program design in between to find out if that's possible? Yeah, totally would. Yeah. Okay, that's going to cost you $1,500. Is it still worth it to you to find out in the next 6 weeks if it's possible for you to get down to the ground and pull off the floor? Yeah. Okay. You didn't promise anything. The entire burden is gone. You asked permission. The client granted it. We're moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the gap you showed, sometimes the trainers get so wrapped up, they're close to the clients, they care very deeply for the clients, and they see that gap happening, the people having to scale, getting frustrated. And what you want to do is fix it, right? You'd fix it for free if you could, but somewhere in the back of your head, you know it's going to take time. So in the end, they just get stuck with not doing anything, right?
Well, the bigger risk is that in the front of your head, you think you can fix it for free. And I'm not sure if, Eric, it was you and I who talked about this, or if it was on someone else's podcast, but I'll take you down the path of fixing it for free. Fixing it for free looks like, hey, after class, I'm going to give you a quick tip that's going to make you better able to do that. Let's take a muscle up in a CrossFit gym, for example. If you own an F45, it's a different movement. If you own a 9 rounds, it's a different movement. It doesn't matter. This is what the fix it for free model ends up looking like. Let's take the muscle up in the CrossFit gym because it's classic. I'm going to show you after class. There's an athlete in your gym who's close to getting the muscle up. They keep on getting to like here, but they don't get to here. So they can't turn their chest over onto the bar. And you just, after class, you're like, boom, push them on the butt. You're like, you feel that? Just get to that every time, right? You see, boom, hands over, quick. There you go, you got it. And then you let them try to do it on their own. When you get that consistently, let me know. We'll go to the next thing. That's what you tell them. They only remember the first thing you told them. Turn your hands over. So this person works every day after class to try to get their muscle up. And one day they get this fucking disgusting looking chicken wing, dip, you know, the air hammer, and they dip out of it. And everyone in the gym is like, yeah, oh my God, that was amazing. Clap for them. You catch it on video, you post on the blog. It was the best thing in the world. So everybody wants that. And of course, they got a massive dopamine drop, so they want more of it. So what are they going to do? They're going to keep practicing, taking no consideration for volume management, frequency, intensity, any of that. Now, one day, 2 weeks later, same athlete is doing shoulder to overhead with a barbell or dumbbells or a kettlebell, and their shoulder hurts. I'm like, oh, that was weird. I don't know what it was. And they have to take like a few days off. But only from that, right? Because that's what hurts. They go back to muscle ups and practice even more of it. Now they go back to the gym the next day. They wake up in the morning like, I don't know what the deal is. My shoulder really hurts. And they end up out of the gym for a month. And they're back to square one. They don't get another muscle up. They have to start all over again. You did them the service of getting them the muscle up for free, but did you do them a service or a disservice in the long run? And to me, it's the coach's job to understand that that person ultimately is now more frustrated than they were before they had it. And they're more likely to leave your gym. It's your job to say, I would love to help you get the muscle up. Instead of just giving you a random tip after class, if it's okay with you, I would love to take you through a thorough assessment to find out where your biggest area of opportunity is to get one. Let's find out what you're missing. It might be strength, it might be range of motion, it might be body weight. There's a million reasons why you might be missing one. Let's figure it out in an assessment. Cool? Assessment's free. Yeah. They come get the assessment. Now we design the plan. Do you want to do this? Yeah. Or no. Okay. If they don't want to do it, don't worry about helping them for free. It's not that important to them. If they do want to do it, they're going to pay you for it.
Yeah, it comes down to what you said. There's the $10 gym member client out there, and there's the 200s. Same goes. It's worth paying that money for getting the muscle up, or the member that just says, no, it's not that important to me. And fine.
Yeah. And I have to say, I think, when you look at like the large majority of gym owners that we may have in this group, boutique gyms, CrossFit gyms, functional fitness gyms, some franchises, there's a commonality, I think, and I've been guilty of it, super guilty of it over time. But when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? And I think there's two things that there's probably at everyone's gym, whether you have 20 clients or 200 clients, members, whatever you want to call them, there's a lot of problems you're not fixing, right? Because of two things, probably, right? One, you don't know how to approach someone about it. Or number two, you don't feel confident or don't believe that you can solve the problem. Now,
there's a third.
What's the third?
If you acknowledge that there's a problem, you believe that you have to also accept blame for the problem being in place.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
And if your shoulder hurts from coming to the gym, why should you pay me to fix something that I broke?
Mm-hmm.
Gym owners need to understand, and coaches need to understand, you didn't break it. The person with a meniscus tear in their knee or Achilles tendonitis doesn't know until they stand up off the couch and start walking. These people have stuff going on already that they don't discover until they do enough with you. It's not your fault. It might not be your fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. And pain is an expensive problem. I mean, it is the way it is, right? I give, a lot of my clients examples. I have a shitty ankle. It's just shitty. Doesn't flex the way it used to. Could be due to an old disc injury that I had that's, finally coming, moving its way down. But whatever it is, it's a shitty ankle, right? And it inhibits me from doing things I want to do. It produces knee pain. If someone came to me and they recognized that shitty ankle and they said, hey, I think I can help you with that shitty ankle, but let's do an assessment first. And they told me this is the plan to fix your shitty ankle, right? I would pay a lot of money for that because I don't want a shitty ankle, right?
Sidebar.
I like to lose 10 pounds too, but that's not nearly as big of a problem, right?
But you know why it's not as big of a problem? Because having a shitty ankle gets in the way of losing 10 pounds.
Yeah.
So like they say, sell sex, food, or money, right? People either, you want to sell sex to somebody, you want to sell money. You don't actually want to sell sex. You're selling their ability to.
Unless you're in Nevada, sex. Then it's right. Okay.
So if your ankle hurts and it's prohibiting you from running or squatting or jumping or whatever, well, then that's in the way of you losing 10 pounds and perceptively getting sex. So how do we get to that? We fix the ankle. And sidebar, I know a great guy who owns a great company who would love to talk to you about that ankle that's not shitty but needs work.
Yeah, we'll get that scheduled right away. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense, and I think it makes an incredible amount of sense. And even during my gym career was as soon as I started offering personal training, that changed everything. Right.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know if someone wants to pay $100 an hour. You know what? Like, it's not about the money, right? It's about the problem.
And here's the beautiful thing. If they don't, then your gym is the same.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I want to add, I don't know if nobody would pay $100 for a training session. How many sessions are you doing right now in the gym? 0. Cool. Then worst case scenario, you have the same fucking gym in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily agree completely, because the expensive problem for the client is just as expensive for the gym owner. Because let's play this example forward. They continue to train with the shitty shoulder. There's a couple of ways this can go. Either they're going to stop completely because they're just like, this is not for me. It just keeps hurting. So it must be me coming here. That's the problem, right? Use them. They're probably not going to leave happy, right? They'd rather stay, and they feel like this place is at fault. The other direction it could go is just they try something else to fix it and go down a different route, look for someone else, look for another gym, go work out at home. And in both cases, you not solving the problem, you not bridging that gap.
And to compound that, if they leave your gym and get the help somewhere else, it validates that you were the wrong place to solve it. So now the people who they were going to send your way, they're not. Now the people who were going to join because they were there, they're not. And we did some simple math recently. And if you own a gym that costs $150 per month on average, and you're losing 2 members per month because they're uncomfortable, they're hurt, their body's not feeling good, whatever it might be. The math on that, when you take a 12-month snapshot, is your gym is losing $23,400 in retention. That should shake everybody on this video. 2 members a month because their knee is bothering them when they squat, or their low back hurts when they run. They're tired of rowing when the rest of the gym is going for a run. They're tired of using dumbbells and everyone else is using a barbell. They don't want to hang from the bar anymore because it's bothering their shoulder. They leave. They join the Orange Theory. They go to the F45 from the CrossFit gym, or they leave the F45 and they go to an Equinox, or they leave whatever your gym is. They leave it to go to seemingly better solution for their issues. At $150 a month, 2 members a month, you're losing $23,400 a year. Not to mention their referrals and their upsells.
Yeah.
Now, on top of that, if you're not solving these problems, you can't go back through your membership and say, who's aging? Who left here in the last year because of this? And call them and be like, hey, we now have a solution. We apologize for underserving you before. We would love to get you back and see if we can solve that problem for you. Now members come back and pay an upsell price for it. Right? It's this awesome cycle of opportunity when you can solve big problems.
Yeah.
And pricing is an interesting thing too, right? Because when we set our pricing, it's based upon the belief of how much value we offer, right? And I think, and I mean, there's a lot of psychology behind pricing. There's a lot, right? And the point I want to get to is that if people are educating themselves and they believe that they can create the value for someone, if you want to get to a point where you're charging $250 a month and you don't think you're there, then find ways to create that value, right? And one of the ways they can do it is working on you. I'm curious, with what you do of training people, training gyms and trainers to seek out the problems, assess the problems, solve the problems. What about scope of practice? Right?
Great question.
How does that work?
Right before scope of practice, the easiest way for most gyms to increase their value is not to actually add anything except perceived value.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone should be wearing a uniform, right? The gym should be extremely clean. Equipment should be organized. If you have medicine balls, let the number face out every time they get put away. So it just looks brand on. Put your logo on all of your wall ball targets. Like Your class understands they're going to face this way. Simple things. And then after you do that for 2 or 3 months, it feels more valuable. It's like going to a steakhouse and getting a nice steak, a nice side on a nice plate in a nice ambiance versus going to sit at picnic tables and they bring you a paper plate and plastic fork and knife. Same food, they can't sell it for as much, right? So that's an aside. As far as scope of practice, we have a very simple rule for the people who we teach, because what we're teaching people is bridging the gap between fitness and therapy. And we don't want anyone to believe that they are a doctor when they're not. We don't want them solving problems that should be in a doctor's office when they're not doctors. So we have a few simple rules. Rule number 1, if you hesitate, refer it out. Think about it like crossing the street. You're getting ready to cross a busy highway. You take that step and you pause. Wait till the truck passes. Refer that one out. Second is we have a list of questions, and the answers to all of these questions need to be in line for you to be able to take the client. If any of the answers are not in line, send it out. Does it get better or worse as you train? If the answer is worse, not for you. If the answer is better, we're on the right track. Does it hurt on a scale of 1 to 10, greater than or less than a 5? Greater than, not for you. Less than, awesome. So if it's less than a 5 and it's getting better as the workout goes on, we're on the right path. When you stop doing whatever you're doing, does the pain that was caused by doing that thing go away? So let's say you have shoulder pain, but it only hurts when you press, and it hurts a 4 out of 10, and it stays a 4 out of 10. But as soon as you put the weight down, the pain is gone. Wheelhouse. Stay with that person. Do they experience discomfort the next day that is higher than what they experienced during the set? If the answer is yes, refer it out. You could be doing damage. If the answer is no, that's your client. Last question. Did you recently injure yourself, or have you been dealing with this for a while? If the answer is, I recently injured myself, refer it out. If the answer is, I've had this for a while, well, then they've been in your gym training with it. Just do a better job. So that's how we identify the scope. One last thing to add to that is you never put your hands on somebody for palliative reasons. You absolutely do for tactile cueing, but you don't try to manipulate soft tissue. You're not trying to move bones and joints. You're not trying to do things passively to see if, you can do it without them having pain. That's doctor stuff. That's the scope.
Yeah. Simple rules. I like it. So I think we've covered a lot of things, and my whole goal with getting you on here, Doc, was that if we can just start to get people to look at their current business in a different way, every time, you talk to a lot of gym owners, I talk to a lot of fitness professionals, everybody is like, well, I just need more members all the time. I just need more members, right? If I get to 200, my life will change. I've been at 265. My life was better at 185.
Well,
and I made more money. All those things are great.
You need to cut 80 members immediately. and there's no charge for that advice. Now, when you think about it like this, right? I pay Ken to coach me. I pay Ken, I think $1,200. I don't even know what I pay him. I think it's $1,250 a month. I wasn't like, I just need more clients before I can pay Ken. And in the last 3 months of working with Ken, I think we've done $240,000 in new business that I never would have done if it hadn't been for working with Ken. You can't wait until you have more members to do the right thing. We have one of the things that we try to do at Active Life is make you your money back before you're even starting to work with us. So if you're a coach and you buy our immersion program, there's a money back guarantee. If you do what we tell you to do, you're going to make your money back before the course is even over. Or I'll cut you a personal check. If you are a Pro Pass member, there's no guarantee. There's too many variables. But my goal is to get you to net zero on your cost versus your income before the course starts. Our course starts in September. We have 12 gyms in it now. 4 of them signed up in the last 2 weeks. The other 8 were in the 2 or 3 weeks before that. 6 of the 8 who started earlier are already at net zero. One of them is a gym in rural Maryland that started with 86 members. Their membership rate was like $130 a month. So since we started, they're down 3 members. 2 people moved, 1 person went to the military, and they didn't sign anybody new up. Their gym is up $2,000. The average member is paying $26 more per month. And he asked me on the phone, he's been with us for 1 month. He asked me on the phone yesterday, if you ever need help getting gyms to do this, who are afraid, please connect them to me because they need to do it. I was scared out of my mind. I did it. And this is the first course I ever did that made me my money back before it even started.
Awesome.
So that's the goal, always.
Yeah. And if you still think you need more members, then go to your waiver pile. If you have 1,000 waivers sitting there, that is the answer that you need to do a better job and solve those problems. You don't need more members, you need to serve them better, right?
Well, and if we look at that waiver pile, like, it can be exciting or it can be depressing. It's depressing if you look at it and you assume these people are gone. It's exciting if you look at it and you're like, wow, we have a service now that we didn't have when these people were members. Let me call them, apologize for not having this service when they were here, and see if they'd like to take advantage of it. And now you can actually get members back into your gym. Now it's a proactive thing instead of like, oh, woe is me. Wow, we really sucked 1,000 times. Right now there's some value to it.
Yeah. So good. Well, I know we're kind of running short on time here and everybody's got a busy schedule. So give us some of the goods. Like where do people find out more about this? And I'll put a link and all of that as well.
If you own a gym, activelifeprofessional.com. If you don't own a gym and you're a coach in a gym, then head to activeliferx.com, click quick links, and then click immersion and do that. Anybody who wants to talk to me who's in this group can talk to me. I'm sure that there's a way that I don't know right now that I could talk to them in this group, and maybe you can teach me that, Eric.
Sure.
And if not, email me, drshawn@activeliferx.com.
Yeah.
Okay. I will talk to any one of you. Now, I'm not going to take you on as a coaching client for free because you shouldn't take your clients on as coaching clients for free. But I'm happy to talk to you about whether or not this is a fit for you. Because the unfortunate, painful to say out loud truth is we have turned away enough gyms to sell this course out twice because they wouldn't have been a perfect fit for it. And I don't want their money if I can't give them a solution.
Awesome. Sean, thanks, man. It's always a pleasure. Linda, thank you for joining, bringing great questions.
Yeah, thank you, Linda.
Yeah, it's been awesome. So, all right, you guys, I'll put this replay in the group, and then Sean, I'll show you how to actually interact with people in the group as well.
Outstanding.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks.